Hi, Anita. Hello.
I'm
Can you
just
hear
popping
me?
in for, I'm just popping in for a second. I won't stay on. I just want to make
I
sure you
can't
guys
hear
got
you.
on, okay? How you doing?
I can't hear you.
Can't hear me now? Hmm. It says that I'm on. Let me make sure. Yep, it says that it's unmuted. Hmm. Let's see here. Can you see that?
I don't know why I can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know either. Weird. Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, do you see the chat on your
I
screen?
can see you. I just can't hear you.
Yeah, let me see.
Hello, this is Emma.
Do you want my phone number? No? Okay.
Hi, who else joined?
This is Emma Miller.
Hi, Emma. How are you? I'm Deborah. Anita's having trouble hearing us.
Yeah, I'm actually in a place that doesn't have internet, so I'm on the phone.
Okay. Well, hang on. Let me see if we can get Anita seeing this. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on there, Emma. I'm messaging Anita to see if we can get her to where she can hear you and me. Okay, she just signed off and she's going to sign back on, see if she can. How are you doing, Emma? We appreciate you being on.
Sure. Just a very busy time. School started, so
Yes,
everybody's running.
it's crazy right now, and the buses are off schedule, and kids are going crazy. My grandson, my daughter got married, and they moved to Charlotte this year, so it's the first year that I'm not making sure he gets off to school okay, and he's starting a new school, so he's all excited and everything. And Anita just popped back on. Let's see if she can hear now. Bless her heart. I don't know why. Oh, let me get her to get, maybe she can sign on with her phone too. Let me get her to do that.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, good. There she is. What was going on?
My volume was muted on my computer, not on the Zoom messaging. So that's what it was.
It's good that this happens because then you can help others when they come on. That's why I got on now, just to see, because sometimes there's these little glitches and it can be frustrating. I know we've got one guy when we were doing the focus group. I don't know if you remember. It might have been Harry Bond. One of them had to sign on with the computer and their phone because they probably had a similar thing going on, didn't realize it. So they would, the voice would come through on the phone, but then they could see what was happening. Well, I don't want to interrupt you guys, but I did want to join in and for a moment just to make sure this was okay, and also to encourage you. It could be very helpful to start a group on the website. That could be helpful. For one thing, it puts it out there to everybody if you're trying to connect with other groups and so forth. And it's totally up to you guys if you want to do it. So it's optional, but that's why that's there, is to help you guys, if that would be helpful. And Andrew actually did a little video of how to go about doing that. It's pretty simple, but just for some people that don't do that sort of thing very often, we had him create a video. And as soon as Mariel gets back from a meeting, I'm going to have her convert that to a YouTube. That way I can give you the link. And I'm actually going to send that link out to everybody that was at the meeting. So it actually shows you how to log in, because some people don't understand how to create a password and stuff if they haven't messed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, just because it's easy for us doesn't mean it's easy for everybody. So we try to be very elementary about it. But then he goes on to show you how you can create a group as well, too. And it's kind of neat because if you do, I can pull pictures from your group and put it in there as your, as your page. So you'll recognize yourself and the group there. And I think I mentioned to you that Donald was having trouble. His emails were bouncing.
Right. Yeah, I did receive one from him, and so, but that was before you had mentioned they were bounced back. So I certainly would have thought it would have been no problem once I had emailed him. Usually there's that easier connection. So.
Well, see, the same thing was happening with me. You were getting some of my emails, but not all of them. So that's why I most recently started communicating with you with my Gmail account, which at this moment seems to get through to you. So I've got that as a backup. If I don't hear from you, I'll always do that. So let me let you get on with your meeting. Just let me know when you're done, and I can convert this to a video for you as well and send that link out to you. Even if it's just you and Emma, not to worry, because we can post that to the rest of the group. You guys can see where you're going. It's, it's your first meeting after the summit. So, sometimes not a lot of people can get right back on, but this way it'll let them know what your plans are, what the next step is, and that sort of thing. And also when your next meeting is, we can go ahead and schedule it. Even if some people come back to you and say, can we make it this date? We can always change it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, let me know if you need me.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Deborah.
So this is,
Hey, Anita.
hey, how are you doing?
I'm sitting in the parking lot of Family Safety Building.
Are you really?
Yeah, I have a
Over
meeting.
here in Cherokee?
Yeah,
my
I have a
gosh.
meeting right at 11, and I thought, right at 12. So I thought, well, I'll just sit in the parking lot and then run into my meeting. But they don't have internet in the parking lot.
Oh my gosh. You ought to just come on into the office.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in the Attorney General's office. Why don't you just come on in?
Well, I don't know where you are. Where's that?
I'm in. Do you know where the BIA agency is? The Cherokee agency?
That's across from the river, right?
You're at Family Safety. I'm on the same side of the river. You just come down the hill and take a right, and we're right on the river, correct?
Okay, you know what? I'll just keep talking to you and I'll drive.
Okay, that'd be great.
Because I couldn't even figure out how to get here.
Because we do have internet in the building here.
All right, hang on.
So I can continue to talk, Emma?
Yeah, that way if I get lost. Because I ended up on some hill somewhere, and the receptionist kept telling me the same thing, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know where I'm
You
going.
can't go by our GPS yet. We're in the process of updating our realty services. And once we do that and take over our mapping ourselves, then we'll have accurate information to send for GPS mapping. So we're in the process of getting all of that taken care of.
Ah, okay.
So until then, when you go to, Google or MapQuest, whatever, it'll be a little bit off.
So Anita,
So,
I see Unity in front of me now. So I think so.
Yeah.
I turn.
take a right. You're coming down the hill, right? Down Unity Hill. You coming down the hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the building in front of you is the BIA agency. Yeah, if you just come straight back and park in the back, I can just let you in.
I have to wait for the geese or ducks or whatever these things are. They're crossing the street. There's like
Okay.
a lot of them.
And do you see the building on your left?
There's a building on my left. It's a white building with a green awning in the back.
Oh, I don't know where you are then.
All right, I see a sign. All right, I'm by the recovery center, but I still have to go. I still have to go further, right?
I'm not sure where you're going now. Which road did you turn down?
I don't know. It didn't have a name, so.
Well, you know where Unity is, right? The Unity for the youth, Unity Center.
Yeah.
Okay, right down the hill on the river is the BIA Cherokee Agency. I'm in that building. Right on the river, on the main road.
Yeah, so I was in the back, I think. So it's a white building, right?
This building's brick.
All right, it says Cherokee. All right, Bureau of Indian Affairs Cherokee Agency in the front.
Okay, yes, and I'm on if you're looking at the building from the road, I'm on the left end. It's the Attorney General's office.
Is that a separate building?
No, it's connected. You just turn right in and park right there.
You know what? I'm going to go to the other parking lot. Let me see if that.
Are you going behind or in front?
I'm going to go in front.
In front? Okay.
All right. That looks like there's more of a building there. Okay, I see the left part. Where there's a fire danger sign in front?
Are you in that blue car?
Yep.
Yeah, just turn in and park right there in that front parking lot.
Okay, perfect.
I see you parking.
Great. All right. I'm coming. I'm going to get off the phone.
Okay, bye. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
So glad you just happened to be in
I
town.
thought about calling.
What's the irony? Oh my goodness.
But then
Come
I
on
thought,
in.
I'm not gonna have, I thought, well, from somewhere, I'm not gonna have enough time to get back to where I
Sure,
need to be.
sure. That makes perfectly good sense. Well, come on in. we could just, I guess, set it back here and just have the discussion as a group. How's that sound?
Okay.
It's just recording.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Because I have a time frame on it. How's that? Then I'll flip this around here. Because this has on it what we were supposed to be talking about. Okay. All right. We have a group video going here for our table 17, the Prevention Education Messaging Training Group. And from our previous meeting at the summit, we had brainstormed and came to a conclusion that our final project was going to consist of story cards with real testimonies from different perspectives and ages, possible audio, video, and our silhouettes or pictures of real people, and examples given were examples from the United States Holocaust Museum, World War II Museum, story cards, and I had additionally sent out links to some more examples from what I was trying to wrap my head around what our project was going to be. I found an additional examples on carefornc.org, a link that I sent to the other group, in addition to an example of a hard copy manual that could be printed with the stories. Of course, they could be actually printed in cards as well. For potential use in different areas. And so this is the background of what our project was going to be for Table 17. And to the best understanding that I have on what our group project was going to be. I know I had received emails from Shelley as to a little bit of clarity, but I wanted to hopefully have this discussion to help maybe clarify and dive down into a little bit better, you know, what our group project's going to be and the different elements involved in the story card project.
So I think that you did an amazing job as a scribe, so thank you for your work at the summit. And
I'll push it back. There we go. There we go.
And also just kind of getting us launched, because I think your items for discussion are really helpful. So if maybe to start things off, I guess I could start responding to some of the things that you said, just with some thoughts. I think this is fine to go through as an agenda if you'd like.
Okay.
The first item that you have on here is just, you know, kind of the basic idea. And I think it sounds really good. I mean, I like the idea of the very first thing here about inter-silo messaging through storytelling. I think I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate embracing as much diversity as we can. Everything from ages, you know, through every other way that we want to encourage that expression. So I think that's really neat. One of the first things on here to make it a reality would be who would be willing to tell their story and where are they, and you know, who would reach out to them. So I'm not in direct practice because I'm working with students at the university. So I think we have to have a little bit more thought about where we might put out some feelers about, and who might want to, who's in the recovery community that would like to really share. So do you have
their own stories?
Yeah.
And I certainly do know some people personally that are maybe peer support now, you know, that, you know, on a regular basis, you know, tell their story. And I certainly feel that I could reach out to them. But I also like how things were brought up at the summit, how you not only have the person that maybe is going through recovery and but you also have their family, like the recovery aides, like they talked about,
Allies, yeah,
you know, the
allies.
allies, where you have other people that, and maybe, you know, what their stories might be on how the process, how everything affected them. So maybe different points of view surrounding recovery from all different sides.
That's pretty neat. That would be possibly the easiest way, because you mentioned they're used to telling their stories.
Mhm.
And if they'd also have some other person connected to them that would also like to share, that would be ideal.
And of course, we often hear of, you know, parents, mothers, you know, when, you know, trying to help their children. And that would be, you know, another perspective, or a child of a parent going through recovery. And of course, the individuals themselves. And from different communities also.
So in our group, with folks with direct contact would be, so would not be me. And it wouldn't be probably Jim out in Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Do we want to stick with Western North Carolina and just have it be Western North Carolina?
I would think so. I would definitely think so, because there are some, even though the path is similar, there are certainly unique elements to, you know, Western Carolina. The whole reason behind I believe, the 7-county summit. So.
I didn't catch where Donald was located in this state.
Do I have his card? He's Raleigh. He's Raleigh also. I know they had also mentioned that Jim might have funding for the project. You know, so there certainly could be potential areas of funding, and I know that was mentioned as a possibility.
Okay. So in terms of who, like I love the who, what, where, when, why, how, you know, kind of like just to frame things, it makes it so much easier. So like the who, if we reach out to peer support specialists first, to see how many people might be interested, and then they have contact with a lot of folks. And we'd be looking for the person as well as their ally, or allies, to be able to volunteer to tell their story and have it be video recorded, right? And then they could either write out what they want to say and then kind of talk it, read it, or they could just be spontaneous. I'm imagining, because if we have it or on a video, we can always transcribe it.
Oh, sure.
So that we could have it both in video format and hard copy.
And we have a wonderful communications department here that has the whole setup for doing, you know, short interviews and short processes. And so I haven't reached out to them, but I certainly can reach out to them to see if, you know, they'd want to assist with this project.
Would they need funding then?
It would depend. It would depend. I'd have to ask them, you know, since of course it would be, you know, part of us as well. It would, I don't know. I just have to double check.
If you do that, I can also check into whoever handles like there's an art department or video
Mhm.
department, or I'm not sure what that falls under at Western. To
I
see
know
if
they
it's
have a great communications department there.
I'm talking about maybe more of a project for students, like if they would be able to
Oh,
engage in a
yes, that'd
kind
be
of a
wonderful.
service learning type thing, like a service project. And, have students be able to do the recording and then the video editing.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
And that wouldn't, if it's student led, it wouldn't cost any money for that part of it. Okay. So let me back up to the peer support specialist, since I don't know any. Actually, that's not true. I know one person. Where would we find?
Well, I know I work with Res Hope. It's been initiated through an enrolled member here and through his story of recovery. And it's an organized group that is active in the communities right now. And he was actually at the summit also as a participant, Caleb McCoy. And the group is called Res Hope. And so he automatically comes to mind first, and I know there's several that work with him that more than likely would be more than willing to, provide their own personal testimony and provide us information probably for others that would be, that may want to.
So
and of course I could reach out to our, our own elementary, our own people here too, sure.
If we ask those contacts about like who would be interested, then we can always see who is presenting, and then we can determine from there their ages and genders and et cetera for diversity purposes, and then maybe from there see.
And now one of the things I added on there was just a format, and I just picked this up at an event I just went to, and it was just the format that I liked. I could see it's obviously a recipe book, but it's a very good format where you could have like a picture or something appear with the testimony below it, and it's very nice, and
you'd actually conserve a lot of space too. Like for example, if you were to do 1, 2, 3, 4 printed back to back, you can have 4 stories.
Sure.
And that would be one handout.
That could be a card right there.
And that could be what we have available, like if you have,
that'd be great.
kind of spreading it out with the diversity piece. But yeah, and then you can have just, so it doesn't have to be a long thing. Or you can have the person and their ally on one side, and then a person and their ally on the other side, and then you can have, another card, so you'd actually have still 4 stories.
Oh, yes.
But you still have, different ally stories as well. But, that would be fine to kind of edit it, or, so it would fit, because I'm sure when people start talking, it's not going to be that short.
And did you click on the carefornc.org?
That's the other one I liked.
Yeah, I love that.
The other 2 were a little, maybe it was the themes that I was looking at that were a little hard to,
just the example.
Yeah, I like the NC Cares, because I thought that was done really well. There was just that intro, and then you can kind of click on people's stories.
Yes.
So that led me to thinking about the platforms. So this would be, if this is in print, we'd have to have funding to get it printed. And maybe that's where Jim's money could come in.
Exactly.
If it was online, then I'm not sure the appropriate place to host it.
Right.
It could be
unless it's the RAI website, right? Unless it's their website, or our individual websites, the people in the group, and with the of course on the Care for NC, they had the one on Oxford House. That was, I guess the related one to this category on there, and I thought it was well done.
So yeah, both of those looked really good. And so the thought is just to have it as part of, the recovery group and host it there, and then everybody in the, connected to that has access to those stories.
Yes.
That would be ideal, and then they could also potentially host those as well, right? So then I see waivers. So I think that was a good thought. So speaking from a legal perspective.
Yeah, it's always good just to have that, for any kind of release of photos and information. Which of course I could easily do. That's no problem.
So money-wise, we'd only need money to do some printing and then possibly videography, depending on who helps with that. And like editing, so it's video editing, transcribing.
And like you said, where would we, on the videos, where would we link them to? Where would it be within our group? Where would our region, where would they be accessible from, right?
Right, so that's the distribution. So online in cards. It would be really slick just to have an independent website, but then you have a whole issue with how people are going to find it. So it's actually better to try to make maybe a slate of like a page and one page, like maybe in the NC Cares format.
Right.
And if there was one page, then people can kind of put that page on their site, and maybe that would work out. So the timeline with who's going to do what, I can check into the service project with students. I can also check out what department at Western does the videography.
I'll check with our communications department on doing the videos.
So they'd be recording and editing.
Or whatever we, wanted them to do, I'm sure.
And you can do the waivers and write those up.
And I can contact the peer support. Rose Hope for potential testimonies.
There's at school, there's Catamounts for Recovery. So I can check in with that group and see if there's anybody in there, because that would give that college age anyway. So maybe Shelley might know somebody too through the health department. Maybe not peer support specialist, somebody else that comes in there.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's something that she'd be willing to follow up with. Or Neil in his role, I'm not really sure. I mean, because that's really the first step, because we can probably do some of these other things more easily.
Right.
Than finding good people. Especially when it said, you want it very positive with the messaging, and some of the stories are hard to hear. So in the pain that people went through. So that could be nice for people to know that if they were considering doing it, that if they just leave it up to them, like if they just want to talk it and be videoed, and then the video could always be edited to a certain length to be uploaded, as well as it could be then distilled into writing. Or if they want to write it first, and then they feel more comfortable doing it that way, and then they can always, if they want editing help, we can help with that. I can help with looking at what somebody writes. Or they might just still want to read it and then have it edited later. I mean, if it's kind of the way they want to do it. So I think that's probably the biggest task, is finding the people and then making sure that it's reflecting, all the diversity that we want. Probably the videotaping could be done just like, in one shot. You could just have like one videographer even, and then just have everybody come, at different appointment times, and then just knock it out in an afternoon or something, or whatever's convenient for the people, to do. So it wouldn't really tie up a lot. But then once you have audio, video, it needs to be edited.
Also, we had a bunch of, at our recent recovery rally, we had a lot of testimonies given there. And we had a facilitator, and of course Lara had coordinated all of that. And so, of course, I knew, who was facilitating. He did an excellent job. Those were actually already videoed. I just thought of that.
Because if somebody also was nervous, it could be that they use the format like StoryCorps. Have you heard StoryCorps on NPR?
Yeah.
I love that. So that's where you just have somebody ask you questions, and then you're just like talking to one person.
Well, that's what he did.
And then
Okay. That's exactly what he did. Except it was a panel. He had a panel of 3 and with the facilitator, and that's what he did.
Who was on the panel? I mean, globally, not by their names. I mean, were there like 2 women, 2 men? Like
They had several sessions. I only sat in one, and there were 3 women in the panel I watched, and one was a ally. Might have been 4 women. But I know they had several scheduled during the day, but I went to one, and it was excellent. Very comfortable setting, and they just really told what they wanted, and he's real led with a few questions,
That might actually be one way to kind of get it done quickly, if that meets the needs and it's already videotaped. Like, could we then
But if that's here, there might be others like that, and our other counties, surrounding counties, potentially. Even with that peer support group, I don't know.
Another thought is, if that one suits the needs for the population here, and it could be put into, just like one page, like the NC Cares,
Right.
click on the videos or whatever, with some intro about people being courageous and having supports, and then kind of like whatever the message is that you want to tie into that, and then put it, on something like this, front and back, and say, this met the needs of this region, and then shop that around to the other counties at that point.
Right.
Instead of trying to do one from every county and make it really big on the front end and not get it done, potentially.
Just start it, and then it could grow. Right.
Well, I'm wondering if that makes sense. If there's already stories like what we're talking about, and they've already been videotaped. And if they could be put in just to one web page with, again, the proper lead-in verbiage in the video and whatever the conclusion is, and then the same thing is take those, you know, if they don't mind the photo,
Sure.
take the picture, do something like this, and have a lead-in on the top, and you know, kind of what you want to say to people as a result of that. Like recovery is possible. You know, there are 4 Samson messages that I know I share with students that I love. So we could just have something like that, and you know, front and back, and get that printed. Like if the ability to do that is all here, to get that done here, and then to be able to say, you know, hey, Jackson County, hey, Swain County, you know, in each of the counties, then to be able to say, you know, are there some people who can take and run with it in your county?
Right.
Are there, you know, we can provide some, you know, technical assistance around them doing that, but then try to, because they would know more of the local community, or
Right.
some of the, you know, people who attend more of the local recovery efforts. So that could be a one way, because then you'd know we got the project done, and it would meet the needs here sooner, and it would be a follow-up to the event that just occurred. And it would be kind of making, if you missed the rally, which I did, I missed it, it's supposed to go, but if you missed it, then it's like there's still another way to access that,
Sure.
and to have.
And this could even be, you know, presented at the rally next year, you know, or wherever, you know.
You can, oh, that's even nice too, because
There's other rallies, right?
You can always say too that you're, you know, building that hall of people that, you know, have really gone that route, and you want to stay strong. And also for them, I would hope that, you know, they know their pictures out and about in the hands of people, and that's encouragement to other people that might really help them kind of stay that path, because it's a tricky path. So, what do you think?
I think that sounds like a good plan. Good plan.
So I can
Getting this implemented.
still look into what I was going to look into, because that would be more, you know, Jackson County overall, like, you know, because that's where the school is, and just to see what the scope of would be for students who might be able to do some video, you know, using the school equipment or something like that. But I can kind of still see about that piece. So you would then contact, maybe not so much the peer support group or Res Hope, you'd go back to the recovery rally and see who's got that video.
Yeah. Literally thought of that while we were talking.
We're brilliant. We're just so brilliant.
Yeah, I'll see if there's already some videos. That's even better.
You know, this can really help spur people along, because sometimes people have a hard time visioning and then grounding it into form. So if it can be done sooner rather than later, and people see it,
Right.
and then they go, wow, I really like this. We need one for our county, or, you know, or wow, you know, that's so effective to have this lead in, and then, you know, these stories, and we can post those, and, you know, all the different agencies that support recovery.
And on the at the Holocaust Museum, they literally give you a card. You know, you literally have it in your hand. And at the World War II Museum, I know they had a big kiosk where you would actually click on a person, you know, and view it. You know, 2 different mediums, right? And but either way you look at it, it's a real person, you know, that you were learning about, and it just makes a greater impact.
Yeah. You know, the other thing too is once it gets in the 2 different formats, there are folks maybe who are supportive of recovery, but maybe not in the midst of it, but like faith communities that might want to invite somebody to, you know, they read the story and go, would you like to have this person come and do your testimony or whatever. And so there could be other ways that it spreads beyond the recovery.
Part of our group here, the TAP, the Tribal Coordinating Committee, I mean, that's the whole reason, you know, we went to the summit, you know, trying to reach out to our region, but also, like you say, different categories like faith-based, like peer support, you know, different services provided in this area to try to see what all is available in our region so that we can work together. Yeah. And the university, right.
The universities just get so many resources. I think we're underutilized maybe. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but just sometimes, you know, like I hear things and I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. We need
we
more
can do this.
connection,
Yeah.
right.
We can do this. Okay, so let's review the who, what, where, when, why, how stuff again based on our new thoughts. So the who would be, there's the potential possibly to use videotape that's already that's already created from the recent rally, and that you can see about you know, getting that. I'd be curious to see how long those stories are, because when you're doing something online, I don't know, there's a thought about how long of a story is suitable.
Right,
It might
right.
need some editing down.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a, you know, like on the YouTube, I mean, there's a certain length that is generally read. Yeah, you don't want them too long.
Yeah, for students, I figured out it's less than 4 minutes.
That's probably accurate for everyone.
Yeah, less than 4
Not
minutes.
very long.
Yeah, okay, so you can do that. So that's the who. What would be the videos? We'd start there. Let's see. We're going to do the waivers and checking with the communications department. And then I guess when we know about that much, we can then see what we might want as lead-in verbiage and then follow-up verbiage. And then that could also be part of the topic header in the bottom of some kind of graphic design. Do you have graphic designers here too? As a PR department or something?
We do, and we have contract also.
Okay, because that would be the other thing as a graphic designer, to be able to take this.
Do the
and-
layout.
Yeah, and do it in a way that could be easily photocopied, or, you know, this is pretty, this is in
Yeah,
color. I
isn't
mean,
that
if you
beautiful?
have
I
money,
know.
if you have money to,
Nice thick pages.
yeah, if you have money to do something like that,
Yeah.
or maybe we want.
Maybe some grant funding too, you know, could be accessed.
To me, this is the second step. Like
Yeah,
the first step would just be the videos in a
Getting-
place where people can get to them.
right.
And, you know, that other format was nice. So it would be, there's the video that exists, but then is there video smarts to be able to put that together. And then from there, maybe we can, that could be a phase 2 or something, is to do it, you know, in something that you can hand out and make available. Okay, this is good because I'm going to need to leave it about it. So timeline, when do we want to get back together, and will you be able to send out just a synopsis to the folks that were here?
Sure.
That's
I need to maybe photocopy your notes too.
great.
That's fine. I mean, I was just writing me down here, so you have more notes than I do.
No. Really. I mean, if you want to, but I don't know if you'd be able to read it. Okay.
Would that be easier? I mean, or you could get on the link, the Google Docs, everybody can link in and just put stuff on it. Or, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm still learning Google Docs. Unless I get a link.
well,
I
I'll
think
just,
I have a link
if-
to
I
recovery.
could just make a photocopy then, and then I could always call you if I can't read it. I can read that. That's fine.
Okay.
That conclude our meeting then?
Yep.
Okay,
We
let
need
me
a
see
follow-up, but the
I'm
follow-up date.
supposed to do next meeting date. When is a good time for you?
You know, it would make me feel better to me if, since a lot of the stuff that needs to get done is like, you know, you're checking things out.
Mhm.
So when you're done checking things out, you have something to report, you know, at the same time, I'll just work parallel since it's just the two of us right now talking. So then, you know, you might be able to know, you know, what if it takes 3 weeks or something for you to get things together, and then near the end of that time, you can always just send out something in advance. Or do you want to just say a month?
Let's say a month. I'm better with deadlines. Is that okay? That would be September 24th.
That looks good.
Same time.
Well, I'm worried about the time because if other people are not here. And was that I don't remember, was that a Google poll? Or we talked about it. Right, we all agreed.
Yeah, we all agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, that time's good for me. And of course, it's recorded, so people can go back and watch it. Is that a good time for you?
Yeah, I'm open that day right now.
Okay.
So we're talking about 10 o'clock.
11.
No, 11.
Make a copy of this.
Okay, you say goodbye. Bye,
Okay, bye everyone. Oops, wrong computer. Okay.
So I didn't have a chance to just say hey or anything. I was just like, oh, we're being recorded. Jump right in.
I was just walking around my laptop and just like, I thought that was so awesome that you were just like right over there. Oh my gosh. There you go. Well, hi.
I know, it's so funny.
But yeah, I think this will be a cool project. I literally was trying to, see what it was that